Manchester and the UK in general has been placed under an emergency situation after a suicide bomber struck an Ariana Grande concert just earlier yesterday. It was a suicide bomber who detonated his explosives, which took the lives of about 22 people and injured about 59 others. Now, the police have already said that they've arrested another 23-year-old man in connection with the bombing. Now, ISIS has already taken responsibility for the attack, claiming that there would be more in the future and that this is righteous retribution for real and imagined injustices carried out against the Islamic State. Now, very interestingly, the suicide bomber, whose name was Salman Abdini, his parents were from Libya. And in fact, they had moved from Libya to the UK in 1993. Now, his parents were part of a big movement to try to oust the government of Muammar Gaddafi back then. As you'll recall, the US launched strikes against the country back in 2011. And it's interesting that this, first generation away from the, trained and planned hostilities against the Libyan government was the ones that ended up taking this kind of strike against people. Now, a friend of mine, Caleb Maupin, pointed out something very interesting. The guy who carried out the Pulse night shooting, his parents were Afghan immigrants and people who were trained and funded to fight against the Soviets in Afghanistan. And he is a first-generation child from that kind of terrorist organization that was used to fight the Soviets. And even the Boston bombing carried out by the Sunarev brothers, their parents were Chechen militants, or at least connected to Chechen militants, and their first generation after, that kind of generation that was funded and trained to fight Russia. It's very interesting to see how all these people who the United States funded and trained, etc., to carry out hostilities against countries that don't carry their interests are now coming back to bite them. The children of this generation that was sent out to attack are now coming back to attack the United States and other Western powers. There will be more on this story as it develops. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.